The goal of our school district is to be a leading district in innovative teaching, leading to learner success. And so with that in mind, the mentorship program was established to help our teachers have the best chance of being innovative teachers and bringing learner success through the most positive learning experiences for Delta students. We've been running for about 3 years, the mentorship program in Delta. We run with about 25 mentors, and this year we had 65 proteges. So early career teachers who had started teaching in a new subject area or grade level, or anyone who just wanted to participate in mentorship. And we run a cohort model, so we have teams of 3 mentors that work with groups of between 5 and 10-ish. I mean, it's really flexible, groups of proteges. We have a focus on inquiry. We have an inquiry question for the program, which is how can we best support our peers so that they embrace and model wise practice. And up until this point, that inquiry focus has really been directed and held by me as the coordinator of mentorship, and we're at the transition point where we're turning that over to the mentors and bringing them into the fold, with the hope of that it will also be become owned by the proteges as well, so that everyone is engaged in the sort of spirals of inquiry. The strengths of our program lie in the fact that it is a cohort model, and in the strengths, knowledge, and skills of our mentors, and especially in their dedication to their own professional development and the professional development of their colleagues. There's a real sense of caring for one another and helping one another grow through reciprocal learning. So those two things, the fact that it's a cohort model and the fact that everyone feels a responsibility to their colleagues to help them learn and grow. So the cohorts are based on geography. So in Delta we have three distinct communities. There's Tsawwassen, there's Ladner, and then there's North Delta. So geography can be a bit of a challenge for people connecting. So we try and keep teams based in North Delta or in Ladner or in Tsawwassen. It doesn't always work that way. And it's also based on subject area, grade level, and area of interest. So for example, this year we had a cohort that was made up of French immersion teachers. They were sort of K to 7, and we had a secondary teacher involved in that as well. Their focus was really on French immersion.
One of our mentors she teach English, and another one was a school-based learning support teacher as well. And it was really interesting because we really brought a lot of creativity to how we supported our team. A lot of them had a part of their FTE was in some kind of either learning support or resource or something like that. So we were dealing with curriculum as well as universal design for learning and differentiation. That were really, really deep and rich discussions on all fronts, not just on our academics. We can have the conversation more easily at the school level at multiple schools. I'm an itinerant resource teacher. I teach out of 9 schools this past year. So I can have conversations at 9 schools as opposed to 1 or 2 people just having the conversation from kind of a static office in the middle of the district. So I think it's a more active sharing process as well of what mentorship can and really should look like.
We use the majority of our funds to release teachers to work together. So we release the mentors for mentor learning sessions, where it's just the mentors and myself working together on mentorship skill development, teaching pedagogy, preparation for working with the proteges, and then we also release the mentors and the proteges for 4 half-day meetings a year to work together. We also have a set of funds that are set aside for lesson study, where groups of teachers are co-planning a lesson, then one teacher teaches it while the others observe, and then they debrief and reflect on the lesson together.
We're all learning from this process. We're all investigating in these process. We're all looking at ways of bettering our practice for our students' learning. and for our own job satisfaction.
All of our mentors are really grounded in mentorship skills, and one of the big areas of focus is that we're not just supporting our colleagues, we do offer support, but we also create challenge for them and push their growth and facilitate their professional vision of themselves as teachers. So everything comes back to those 3 layers of support, or we think of them as the 3 spinning plates that you need to constantly be holding up all of those things. It's not just enough to help a colleague figure out a problem, you know, where's the photocopier, or like what's a good, you know, activity to teach a certain skill, but also creating challenge, pushing them to think deeper and further about their practice, and also facilitating what it means for them to be the kind of teacher that they want to be. So I think that is what makes it different from just sort of like a professional learning community, or a you know, our professional development that we do within our schools and across our district is the focus on like Heather was saying, the long-term growth as a professional. One of the real challenges is just comes down to communication. From my perspective, like the systems communication. Teachers aren't hired at just one time of year anymore. They're hired constantly. So getting updated lists on who's being hired and inviting them to join the program is a challenge. It can also be challenging to bring in and hear the voices of all the stakeholders in the school district, so and kind of have everybody on the same page. We did a mid-year program assessment, so I sent out a survey to all of the mentors and all of the proteges, and one of the big comments that came back from the mentors was that the skills they were learning in mentorship were really impacting their other roles in the district. Most of our mentors are sort of mid-career teachers, 8 to 15 years, so they're established on their staffs. They often chair committees or sit on committees, and we heard a lot of feedback about that mentorship has helped them be a better professional development chair, or be a better department head. So we're seeing that the positive influence bleeding out beyond just the mentorship teams, and that's one of the core values of the program. We invest hugely in our mentors. We spend more money on our mentors than we do on our proteges, and it's because they have a larger sphere of influence. So they're not only impacting the proteges, they're also impacting their staffs and their students, and all of the other aspects of education that they work in, whether it's coaching or an extracurricular activity. My biggest suggestion would be to challenge your own preconceived notions about what mentorship is, to open up your thinking about it. It doesn't have to be one-to-one, and in fact it might be better if it's not one-to-one, and it doesn't need to be master teachers opening the heads of young teachers and pouring knowledge in. In fact, it shouldn't be that. It should really just be about teachers coming together, having learning-focused conversations and engaging in reciprocal learning. So just opening up the idea of what mentorship is.
To add on to that, I think it's incredibly important to have the support and buy-in from your senior or district administration as well. I think that's one of the biggest successes in Delta, is because it is a focus for our administrators at all levels, not just in the board office. From my perspective as a mentor, I think it really greases the wheels and makes the program just run more smoothly, and they're open to things that we want to talk about or look at, and Tashi's great at digging up all kinds of ideas and making those conversations and connecting the people. It's a fluid cycle.
And the senior leadership doesn't just talk about mentorship, like they've made it happen. They made the money available. They created a half-time position for me to coordinate the mentorship program. If there isn't one person dedicated to it, someone's doing it off the side of their desk, and that's challenging. Yeah. So mentorship came out of our visioning process, which we went through in 2010 and 2011.
5 years ago, yeah.
And it was seen as a key piece in developing innovative teaching for learner success. And so the support is stated, and it's also backed up with funding, and it's also backed up with presence. All of the mentorship events that we host, our superintendents are showing up, our school board trustees are showing up. They're there speaking with new teachers, speaking with mentors. They know what's going on. They understand it at a very deep level, and that's the key. Because they value it and understand it, we're doing amazing things. If that went away, we would probably limp along, but that support is huge. The support is coming from the top, and the support is also coming from the teachers, and the need we needed it, and teachers like Heather are stepping up and investing a lot of time and effort into mentorship.
Mentorship for me means that no matter what job a teacher is doing, they have the opportunity to learn from another person. And whether or not it's a new teacher at the early stages of their career, or whether or not it's somebody who is changing to a different teaching load or to another school, or perhaps even becoming an administrator. So each change requires a new look at how the work is being done. And it's very important for teachers, administrators, and all staff in the district to feel supported throughout their career, so that the professional learning is supported and enhanced through the opportunities of mentorship. The mentorship program in Delta is more a community kind of feeling, so that it's not a one-on-one mentor or mentee. It is more a community, a pod, or a community of people working together in support of one another. So the mentee and the mentor is very reciprocal in terms of the learning. I believe it gives a greater feeling of community, and that the professional learning takes on what exactly that professional needs personally to advance themselves in their career and to feel better about their work. Sharing of the learning in the teacher practice really does impact student learning, because it asks teachers then to ask all those great questions about, is this really impacting my students in my classroom, and in what ways is it impacting my students? Is it making a difference? Are they learning? How is the assessment telling the story about the students' learning? So the mentorship and the inquiry process that's going on in Delta is really working in tandem, so that the opportunities to ask questions about student learning and the success for our student achievement, the success for our students, is always on the minds of teachers.